Hi dancers, Jess here. Welcome back to the Whole Dancer YouTube channel. Today I'm covering the general topic of diet for dancers, as this is a question that I often hear, both in the Whole Dancer Facebook group and just by email, things like that. A lot of young dancers would like to know, what's the ideal diet for dancers? Even older, more established dancers are curious, is there a set or somewhat set diet for dancers that we all should be aspiring to? So I totally get the question, and I know that I certainly had it when I was dancing professionally as well. You would just love for someone to tell you exactly what to eat that's going to make you have your best dancer's body. The unfortunate part is that, and this is something I talk about a lot, we are all so very different that there is no one-size-fits-all diet. There's not a single eating plan that's going to work for everyone. And that's evidenced by some of the past videos I've done with dancers where we've talked about the way that they eat, and you can see if you watch those that everyone's approach is very different. And for older, more established dancers, a lot of times they've tried a variety of different things before they have settled on the way that they're currently eating. It's important to note as well that when it comes to the way that you eat, what works for you now, whether you're 15 or 20 or 30, is going to be different than what might work for you when you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s. So meal plans and diet is something that needs to be consistently evolving and consistently reassessed and thought through. All dancers should focus on whole foods, avoid processed foods, and try to eat as many plants, fruits, and vegetables as you can. Those foods are going to boost immunity, they're going to boost bone health, they're going to help you to build muscle, they're going to help you to stay young and healthy and vibrant and have energy. So they should definitely be a focus. Beyond that, as a dancer, you are an athlete, so it's important that you think about protein. Even if you are vegan and you can get all of the protein you need on a vegan diet, it does take a little bit more attention just to making sure that you're getting enough protein sources in and not getting too low in that. Dancers as athletes need more protein for muscle recovery and body recovery as you're using your body at such a high level. So protein is definitely something that should get a little bit of additional attention, more so even than if you were just a regular person going through your days and your lives. You do have to consider protein a little bit more since you are a dancer and athlete. Don't have to get obsessed with it. I know I got a little bit obsessed when I was dancing, and the most important thing is that you're giving yourself diverse sources so that you can get all of the protein that you need. I have spoken with some dancers who wanted to follow a vegan plan and then decided that they needed to do something that was a little bit, that had some easier accessible protein. So they incorporated some animal sources. If you can find ethically sourced eggs or fish, things that might feel a little bit, even if you are an ethical vegan, things that might feel a little bit more okay for you to consume, that might be something to consider for your dancing years. You want to make the choices for your body and dancing that are going to support dancing at a high level, especially if it's something that you're pursuing professionally or already doing professionally. And that might mean making some compromises or sacrifices to your diet plan in order to facilitate the highest level of dancing that you can. And I know that that's going to be a controversial point, and I'm open to your criticism. Please be aware that I'm very supportive of vegan diets and vegan dancers, and I have been vegan myself. So I'm very understanding to all of those things, so you don't need to school me on veganism or the benefits of it. But I am just saying that for some dancers, it might benefit you to think about other protein sources. For dancers, you might consider anti-inflammatory food sources and things that are going to be supportive to your bones. So dark leafy greens can be a great source of calcium and support to your bones. You need to consider vitamin D for bone health, which you can get from the sun. But since we as dancers are in studios for so many hours of the day and we often miss that little bit of sunlight, it might be something you need to supplement. That's something to have a discussion with your doctor about, seeing if it is something worth supplementing or something you would benefit from supplementing. I definitely suggest dancers get vitamin levels checked if you have that opportunity, if that's something that your doctor can do for you, especially if it's something covered by insurance, that you can go and see that you are covering all of your bases and giving your body what it needs to stay healthy and strong. When you're in your teens and early 20s especially, your bone density for your life is being established. You're also growing and developing. So it's very important that you're not doing anything restrictive or anything that is going to compromise your growth or your body's ability to repair itself, or, like I said, your bone density. Bone density is established in those early years, and you want to make sure that you're doing all that you can to support strong bones, because it is going to affect your lifetime. So don't do any restrictive or extreme dieting in your younger years, because it can have long-term effects on your bone health. So it's definitely worth thinking about, am I giving myself all the food that I need? Am I eating enough? That's a big question when it comes to diet for dancers that I don't think we think about enough, because I think we sometimes are thinking about, how can I possibly eat less, or I'm trying to reach this dancer's body and maybe I should be eating less. But if you're not getting enough, you're compromising your long-term health, and it's not worth the sacrifice. And when you don't build strong bones in young years, it might lead to stress fractures and other injuries that are obviously going to be detrimental in the moment and for your long-term endeavors as a dancer, your long-term goals as a dancer. I like to talk about the concept of adding in more and more healthy foods so that you don't have as many cravings for the less healthy things. You still have to strike that balance, and you are still going to have days or times when you're going to enjoy indulgences, chocolate, cookies, cake. Like, we should all be enjoying those things, even as ballerinas, even as dancers. But you want to think about how you can add in more of the good stuff, more of the healthiest food that's full of nutrients and vitamins, so that you're less likely to be craving empty calories that are just indulgent and not supportive to your dancing. You can strike a balance with those things, as Janelle Manzi exemplifies. She, makes recipes that are both indulgent and functional. They incorporate a lot of superfoods. So she's, sort of marrying those two ideas, and she's therefore able to get in her sweets and enjoy some treats that are still serving her body. And that's a key thing too, and that's something that I always suggest to dancers, is it's not about deprivation. If you can find ways though to make healthier versions of things, that's a great route to go. So I love, like banana ice cream, taking frozen bananas or frozen fruit, blending it up with a splash of almond milk and calling it ice cream. I think that that's a great way to sort of get in those treats without feeling deprived, and without going to like super high sugar, high artificial sugar, or anything like that sources. And that feeds into another key tenet when it comes to diet for dancers, is that you have to allow indulgences. The dancers that I have worked with who have gotten into some trouble with all of this, and myself included, are, where you have tried to be too extreme. When we try to be too extreme, it tends to backfire one way or another. If you are able to stay extreme, it might mean you're going to get injured because you're not giving your body what it needs. If you stay extreme for as long as you can, and then you flip-flop and you lose control and eat everything in sight, it might lead to fluctuating weight up and down throughout your life and career, which is my experience. I actually had both. I had injuries as a young dancer, and then I had those weight fluctuations once I was dancing professionally and in through my 20s. So you don't want to get stuck in there. So as much as you can, establish those healthy balances with food. That's really going to be the key element. Try to stay away from the extremes as much as possible. If you feel like you've already gotten into them, definitely seek out help and support, because it's not the kind of thing that's very easy to fix on your own. I know I tried and I didn't get there until I had outside intervention. So keep that in mind as well. The best diet for dancers is one that's healthy and balanced and supporting your dancing and your life beyond dance. So that might be kind of a boring response, but it is honestly the truth. And As much as I probably would have had a hard time just accepting that as a young dancer, I know now from all of my experiences and my working with dancers that it's key. I hope you liked this video. I hope it has given you some balanced perspective. If you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, thoughts, or questions, feel free to share. And for more from The Whole Dancer, definitely subscribe to the channel. Little announcement coming up next month, the Dancer's Best Body program is enrolling again. And the goal of that program is to support you in reaching your personal best dancer's body with balance by figuring out the best meal plan for you personally. So we kind of work through all the questions around diet for dancers, and you try some new things in order to figure out what will work best for you. And for info on that, go to thewholedancer.com and click on the link for the Dancer's Best Body program under programs. Any additional questions about it, feel free to reach out. You can email me, Jess at thewholedancer.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, dancers. Keep eating healthy, and I will chat with you all soon.